Okay, so what we'll be doing today? Today we'll build a form and other components of Bootstrap. This is the task for today. So let me close all. Okay, so I'll open our app.js and I'll right now delete all this whatever is there. So we are building the form first, and we will be building different components of the form like input button, text area, and all other things we will be building here now. So let's create a folder, and I will name the folder. I will rename the folder as widgets. So this widget will have all the components of the form and other Bootstrap components. And I will create this widget folder, and then I'll go to the Bootstrap, React Bootstrap. So if I go to the forms, we'll see a lot of form controls are there, like email address, password, and all other things are there. So let's take the email address first and make a component of email address. So this part is the email address, and this part is for the password, and this is the button. So let's start with the form. So I will copy the form and I will put it here, the form. First I will name the title heading as form, and then I will create the form tag. Since I put the form here, I have to import the form from the Bootstrap. So I will do that right now. I will say import form from React Bootstrap. So since I have used this form from the React Bootstrap, I have to import the form here in the top, and then I can use the form. Now here I will be adding different components. All the components I will add it here, and then we will play with those components also. So let's add the form. Now let me start the application. So first field will be the email which we saw, the email part which we will be building. So I will copy this email part, and then I will create in the widgets. I will create a new file. I will say email.jsx. Whenever I use the React component, I will use .jsx, and wherever I write all the JavaScript without any JSX code, then I use .js extension. Now JSX means the HTML inside the JavaScript. This is the called JSX. Whenever I use JSX, I will create extension called JSX, and whenever I use only JavaScript without this HTML part, I will create the extension .js. Dilpreet, you're not able to hear anything. Okay, audio is poor. Someone is saying audio is good. I think you try to rejoin or increase the volume and see. Dilpreet, can you hear me now? Dilpreet. Okay. let's see for a couple of minutes. If he's still unable to hear, just let me know. Then I'll try to see what I can do. Okay, so first component we build the email.jsx, and I will write the code for the email.jsx. Constant email equal to, so here I will say return. Inside return I will paste the code which I got from the React Bootstrap, that is the one which I got it here. Okay, so I got this one. Now I will call this component here in my app.js. I will say import email from widgets/email, and then I will use this email inside this form element. Now let's check it on the browser. Okay, site cannot be reached. I have to start the site. Now we will dig into this email element for some time, a little bit more time. Before digging into it, I will add the button also, the one button which we have, this one, this submit button. I'll just copy this button type and paste it here. Okay, so that I can play with the email component for some few minutes. So let's refresh the page. Let me refresh the page. Okay. So button is not defined. Since I added the button, but I did not import the button in the top form, so I will add button also, and then form is not defined. Okay, so it's saying form is not defined in the in the email component. We did in the email component also, but we did not call this form from the Bootstrap in the email component. So I will add the form component inside my email component. Now we'll check again. Refresh the page. So you can see the email is there. Though it's taking the margin on the left and right side, but at least form is coming that we can fix the margin on the left and right side. So let's go here and I'll just create a div here with class name equal to container to fix the margin on the left and right side. Now I get some margin on the left and right side and form is coming. Now how to, before adding more components here, we will see how to capture this input field so that when I click the submit, I should have this email field in my variable, some state variable. Since this will be changing every time, so I have to use the state variable, and I'll be creating the state variable here. Yesterday I showed you how to create the state variable. I will use the constant, and maybe I can say form values. So I'll be putting all the elements, the value of all the elements which I have in this form in the variable called as form values, and I will also call set form values. So if the form values are changed, I will use set form values, And to display the form values, I will use the form values. So if a user put something in the email field, I will save that in the form values. I may have other fields also, like let's say select button, select box, or something different, or password. Then that value also will be saved in the form values. So what data type should be there for the form values? Will it be simple string or it should be object? Because I have to take the values from the different fields. So I have to save it in the form values variable. And I will use react.useState. Yesterday I showed you how to create the state value. And initial value of the form values will be the object. I have to create an object. So I will create a curly bracket to create form value as an object. Now I will do console.log of form values. Now, whenever someone changes the text inside the email field, I have to update these form values. So right now, you will see the form value is simply an object. And when I change the text here, nothing happens in the form value. Form value is not changed because we have not written a code to do that. Now I will do that part. I will write the code so that whenever someone changes the field, someone changes the text inside the email field, it should update my form values. So for that I will create a function called as handle change. It will be function and it will take some input called as e. Now whenever something happens in the email, I have to call this function. So I will pass this function as a props to the email widget or email component. So whenever something happens in the email or whenever some changes happen in the email field, I have to call this handle change. And in the handle change, I will write some code to update the form values. So the thing will go at form will render it, email will render, and email will take this function, and this function, whenever someone changes the text in the email field, this function is called, and here I will write down the code to update the form values. So let's go into the email widget and use this function. So I'll go to the email widget. Since it is coming as a props, so I will use as a props here. And then this is my email control. This form control is the input field for the email. And here I will say on change. Whenever there is on change happen on the email field, I will call this function. And what is the name of the function? Since it is coming as a props, I will say props.handle change. So in the app.js, I am passing handle change as a props. It goes to the email component, and in the email component, I am taking that as a props. And here on the form control, I will say on change. I will say call the function props.handle change. Now, when handle change is called, it comes with some value called as e. And here I will write on the console.log what is coming as a e. Now, I need the field name and the field value. So I will say field name is, and to retrieve the field name, I will use the special JavaScript variable which comes whenever there is input change, and that variable is called e.target.name. This is the variable which will come whenever there is some change in the email field. And to know the value, what user has put the value, I will say console.log field value is e.target.value. So whenever there is change in the email field, this on change is called. This is the event of the JavaScript. And in on change, we call this function called as handle change. And in the handle change, I will say e.target.name to know the field name which we are changing, and e.target.value, that is to know the value which we are changing. So let's go. And since we don't have name here, we will be confused what we are changing. So here we have to add the name field also in the field. So I'll say name equal to email. I can give any name, but right now since I'm editing the email, so I want the email here. So let's see what is coming inside the name and value. So I refresh the page. Now pay attention to this console.log when I'm changing the email. So whenever I'm changing it, you will see the field name is coming. Again, I'll do M. When I do M, you will see field name is email and field value is empty initially. Then field name is email and field value is M because I type M here. Then I say A. So you will see field value is A. Then I'll say N. So this is something I put my email here, and you will see it is updated here as a field value and field name is email. So now I know that I am getting the name also of the field which I am changing. I am also getting the value which I am changing. I need to now update these form values with this name and value. So how to do it? I will call this function called as set form values. And in the set form values, I have to update here with the name and the value. So how to do this? This is a special way. Just look into it how I'm doing. I will use an object, and first I will take these form values. What is the form value? I'll not write directly this form value. I will create a copy of the form value like this. I will create a copy of the form values by putting 3 dots, and then I will open the rectangular bracket, and then I will put the value. What is the value? This is the e.target.value. And what is comes inside this rectangular bracket? e.target.name. So this is the way we write always. We write when we need to update the object in JavaScript nowadays. Previously, people used to do anyway, but this is the way which we have to observe in the React and in the normal JavaScript also. So whenever we have to update the object, we have to take the value copy of this one by putting 3 dot, and then whatever new value I have to put, I will put it like this. So I'll create a rectangular bracket, and I'll put the name of field which I want to change, and then I have to put the value of the field which I have to change. So this way form value will get updated, and here in the console.log you will see the updated value. So I will just demonstrate it again to see what's happening. So this is the initial page. I will put 74@gmail.com. So here you will see what is coming. The field name is coming as email. Field value is coming as this one which I have put by email, and the form values is also updated with email field, and the value is whatever I have put it here. So in olden days, people used to fill all the form, and when they submit it, they used to capture the form field. But now in React, we don't do it like that. Whenever user try to change the field, email field or any text field, we immediately capture it and we put it in somewhere in some variable. So right now we have only one field, so you are seeing only one field. When we add multiple fields here, you will see all will get updated in this object called as form values. Let's add one more to make it clear for you how it's working. So I will take this password field and I will create another widget called as password.jsx, and here I'll say import React from React, and then I'll say constant password equal to, and I'll say export default password, and here I'll return the password field. And since I am capturing the form, I need this form here also in the password. So why it's not working? Return form group. Okay, let's try again. Okay, I have not copied everything, I think. Yeah, I have to copy everything in the form group. Still some problem. Form group is started, label control. Okay, form group is done till here. Okay, so I created the password field, and here I will say props, and then I will, on the control here, I will say name equal to password, and on change equal to props dot handle change. Similarly, as we did in the email one, now I will call this password here inside my app.js, and I'll say password, and then I will call this password after the email. I will call the password, and I'll say handle change, and I'll call the handle change here. So let's test it again now with two fields. So I'll refresh it now. You will see email address is there and password is there. I'll change the email address, and then I'll change the password. So you will see in the form values, I'm getting email as this, and password is coming as a password, because right now there are two fields, so we are getting two fields in my form values. And when we fill, there may be other fields also, and then we can take all the fields here in the form values, and in the finally we can submit that in the backend. So now let's say I want confirm password also. So I want confirm password also here. So what should I do? I should create another one for the confirm password, because if I call the password, it is calling with the name of password. But what if I want confirm password field here? So what I will do? I will pass the name as a props. So in the confirm password, I will pass the name as a confirm password, and in the password, I will pass the props as a password. So instead of the hard-coded value of name equal to password, I will say props dot name. So I will pass the name from my app component so that I can call the same component two times, one with the password, one without, one with confirm password. So since I'm calling props dot name, here I have to change in the app.js. I have to pass name also, name equal to password in the first component, and in the second component I will pass name equal to confirm password. Okay, so here I will be able to use same component two times, because in the first case I am passing name as a password. In the second case we are passing the name equal to confirm password. Now let's see how it looks. So we have the email address, password, and confirm password. So I'll put email in the first field, I'll put password in the second field, and I'll put confirm password in the second field. Now you will see the form values has confirm password because I passed different name in both the cases, and we have the password, confirm password, and the email. So this way we can use the same component and reuse for another field also. Now what if here it is showing the password and here it is also showing the password, but I want to show here as a confirm password and here as a password only. So we will pass that also as a props. So I will go into the password. So instead of password, I will say, I will also pass that as a props. So I will say props dot title, and I will pass the title from here. So in the first case, I will pass title equal to password, and in the second case, I will pass title equal to confirm password. So let's test it now, how it looks. So now you will see the text is changed to confirm password. Here text is changed to password. Now if you see, this is initially it is showing password here and it is also showing password here. That is a placeholder value. This is called a placeholder value. So that also I should be able to configure differently in both the cases. So I'll go into the password component, and instead of placeholder password I will pass as props dot placeholder. So whatever I passed from the previous page will appear in the placeholder. So in both the cases I will pass different placeholder. In the first case I will pass enter password, and in the second case I will say enter confirm password. So in both the cases I am passing placeholder also, so that I should be able to differentiate that field. So now you will see in the first case it is saying enter password, and in the second case it is saying enter confirm password. So this way we can configure our components so that it should not be hard coded to some value. Right now with email, I don't see need to change the email one, but if I need to change something on email one, I will do that also in the email field. Now we see that whenever we change it something, I see that value coming in the e dot target dot value and e dot target dot name, which I update in my main of form values. Now I will create another function called as handle submit. So whenever my form is filled completely, whenever I see my form is filled completely, I will call this handle submit function. So in the form tag, I will say on submit equal to handle submit. So whenever user click the submit button, it will call this function. Which function it will call? Handle on submit handle submit function. So inside the handle submit we have to write something. Right now I don't have any database or backend call. I'll just console.log whatever is coming in the form values. So I will say console.log of final submitted object is form values. Now the thing is that when I call the handle submit, whenever the on submit is called, the page will get refreshed, which I don't want because I am building the React application, which is single page application. Since it is single page application, I don't need the refresh of the page. So whenever I call the on submit function, then it will refresh the page. To avoid that refresh of the page, I will say e dot prevent default. So when I say this statement, this will avoid the normal behavior of the form, and the form will not refresh the page. Whenever I click the submit button, it will not refresh the page because of this statement. Form will not form submission will not cause page refresh because of this line, and we will be able to see this console.log successfully. Now we'll test this one more time. So I'll refresh the page. I will put my email. Whenever I'm changing something, you will see everything is changing in the form values. Let's put the password. Let's put the confirm password. So you will see I got the three values: confirm password, email, and password. Now when I click the submit button, you will see the final submitted object is confirm password is the password, email is this, password is this. Now when I click the submit button, I get this final object, and I take this object and I submit this to the backend so that it should go into the database. This is how we do the form submission in React. So we have to create one handle change, and we have to create the handle submit one, and we have to create the different field. Let's create a couple of more fields so that this concept is clear for you. So I will create, instead of email JSX, I will rename it to input.jsx, and I'll change this to input, and I'll change this to input. I don't need this form text. I need this type. Type will be the text. Now since this is the input field, this does not need the type of text, and the placeholder and name will come from the parent component. So inside the placeholder, I will say props dot placeholder, and here I will say props dot name, and both will come from the parent one, and here title will also come from parent one. I will say props dot title. So now let me call the input from the app.js. And now I will use the input here, and I will say input. So initially I will take two things. I'll call the name equal to first name. Title will be enter first name placeholder will be enter first name, and title will be first name only, no enter. So this is the input, one input, and second input which I will take is the last name, and here I'll say last name. So second is the last name. Let's check the form now. So you will see I can take the first name and last name also. Now let's fill the form again. So once I click the submit button, I will see, okay, I did not get the handle submit in these two fields. That's why I did not get the name and last name here. So let's add this. I did not add this handle change. So let me add that. And I'll go to the input field. We get handle change.
Manish,
yeah.
So can we, like we are adding handle change on every control. So can we do it as globally, so we don't want to make the change again and again?
Globally means what? we are doing in the field separately, right? This one.
Yes, globally means like we can create a particular JSX file for it. Then we can call the handle.change. So will it work like this?
I'm not sure what you are saying, but this is the way we have to do. We have to pass it in every case like this here, because each component widget is a separate one, and we have to call this. If you want to say globally, we can do like this. We can write some. I'll just show you how the globally should work, kind of thing. But we don't do like that. But I can show you how it will work.
Okay.
So you are saying that create a, let's say, file and that put the handle change there and call it here in each component. So
Yes.
since it is controlled here on this one, I have to update this here, this form values. It should be from here only.
Okay.
Okay. If I don't want to update this form value here, if I want to use the Redux and the place of saving is different than this one, then we can call it from some common place. But with this concept, we have to call handle change everywhere here, and this is the normal every React person. Once you do too many projects, you will be used to it. This is the way we do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So I have done thousands of form in the React, and this is the way only we do. It's okay. So now I put the last name also. Let's check the form again, and then we are done for today. So password. Since previously first name and last name was not coming because I did not edit the handle change. Now once I edit it, you will see all the fields are coming here. So once I get this all the fields in an object, I can submit that to the backend, maybe Firebase or maybe in some Node.js application or some backend application. So this is the way we handle the form every time we get. Now the task remaining is that we have to take all this form control, whatever you see, and create a widget for them. So many controls are there, and not only the form one, we will go one by one to all this and make some components for each one of them, so that we can use that in our project. Now when I start building the project, and when I have all these things ready, all these widgets are ready, I can build the project in one day. I can half an hour. I can build the whole project. I don't need much time. So I'm right now. My task is to create some base work for my real projects. Once my this base work is completed, then building the real project will be half an hour of job. So once we will be build this all small components, and when we start building the projects, I will take use of this all things, and I will build the project very quickly in short period of time. So that is my main aim. So this is all about how to handle the change and how to submit the form in React.js. In React.js, we don't take the field value, and in the end, when user clicks the submit button, then we take the value of each field. We take the value on change only. Immediately when user types something, we take that value and we use it and we save it in some variable. Right now we are saving it in the form values. You can name it anything like that. So that is how we do that.
Sorry for interruption. Please minimize the terminal or close the terminal.
Which terminal? This one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll close the terminal.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So this is something import statement. This top thing is common in all the form. Whenever I build you will see in my projects also, whenever I build form, this three function will always be there. One is to take the form values, one is to see how the change is happening, and one is for the submission. And here in real world, when we will write the database or Firebase, we will write that object to database or Firebase or Power Server or MySQL or Mongo, DB anywhere, we will put that in the database. That is for today. So do you have any problem in understanding, or do you have any questions in this task?
I have one question. We shouldn't compare the input fields from password and confirm passwords.
Yes, we will do that. Yes, we will do that when we do the validation. So there is a once we take the value of this one, we do the validation part, and in the validation we compare both are same or not. And if it is different, we will show the error. So that in validation we will also show the error. So something error will come here. Whenever something is not good, we will show the error. So right now I'm not doing the validation. I'm just taking the field and showing how to capture the field. So in validation we will compare this two.
Thank you.
Why we choose React Bootstrap for UI? There is no specific reason. I like the React Bootstrap. That's why I choose the React Bootstrap. You can choose your one, or you can build your own UI. So right now I don't want to concentrate in building the UI stuff in CSS, writing CSS for every HTML or every looks. I use the React Bootstrap. But I will do some projects with material UI also. We can use that also. But right now I'm using React Bootstrap.